live, guys.
Are we?
And I
mostly live?
Because we're live, not to get Lisa's attention or anything, but
No,
just, hey, we're live. Hi, everybody.
If I look away, I don't laugh.
Exactly. That's the whole point. We don't want Lisa to laugh. We like it when Lisa laughs. We really do. I know. Anyways, hi guys. It's the Our Turf Football Podcast coming to you on another Tuesday. Yes, I'm in my closet right now. Just logistics right now. It's okay.
It's fine. Family show.
25, girl. Come out of that closet.
Come out of that closet. No judgment here. No judgment here.
Y'all are such a mess. Oh my goodness. Hi everybody. It's our Turf Football Podcast. We've got Cleveland Kate. We've got me, Sonia. We've got Lisa LJ 1303 coming to you live from the 305. Actually, it's kind of been fun this week watching training camp on TikTok and everybody shouting out their area codes. Have you guys seen those? Okay.
Oh, the area code things like hats. They got the hats.
Yes.
You guys see that too up there in the Cleveland area, Kate? You got the hats.
So, yeah, we got the 216 and the 440 splitting up Cleveland. And then I saw some posts today on the socials from people in the 614. And I'm like, really? You can't just say you're from Columbus? And then as I'm looking around, I realize that's a thing now. Everyone, the 419 is Toledo. So we have four basic, I was going to say time zones, area code. Those are the four big ones in Ohio. And yeah, we're seeing it at training camp, people holding up signs. I guess it's easier to just put three numbers than it is to write all the letters of your city. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think down here it started with Pitbull, Mr. 305.
Yeah.
So when he came to the games or the Dolphin training camp and pops in, he was Mr. 305. Next thing you know, we start seeing all the 305 hats.
Oh, I forgot the 330. LeBron's all about the 330 because he was born and raised in Akron. And we do have that 330 in the middle there. But, before we go too far into this, we should give a shout out to our sponsors, Donkey's Place. It's our third year with them.
5.
Lord, it feels like
we're up there with them. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I know why I'm thinking 3, because they have 3 locations: Camden, Mount Holly, and Medford.
That's why we're thinking 3.
That's with 3.
And they must have somebody running their socials now, because I saw a bunch of social media posts from them on Instagram. So go look for Donkey's Place on Instagram and you can see what's going on there. But they are, I think, proud sponsors of the Our Turf Football Podcast.
I'm sure sometimes they're out there like, my God, y'all.
What are these girls doing? They're in the closet. Exactly. They're out of the closet. What's going on over there?
For realsies. Also, y'all, if you are, Big Red gets it. Big Red gets it. Hiding from family in the yes, Big Red. He is a parent of 3. Yes, you and me. I got you. You're here.
I don't know about your houses. At my house, you can't even hide in the bathroom. They will follow you in there.
Yeah.
There is no place.
I'm here right now. So
if you're watching us on the Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else, thank you. But if you want to be part of the action, like Big Red, like Kristen, like some of our other faithful followers, come on over to the YouTube. Hey, Kristen.
Kristen.
You can put comments and questions here. We'll put them up on screen. Darcy.
Hey, Darcy.
Hey, Darcy.
We will answer your questions. We get a little more interaction here. Camden's back.
We love Camden.
We do. So come on over to the YouTube or watch where you are. Pick your favorite platform. But here you get to interact with folks in the comment section.
And we love the interaction. So the football gets started. It got started last week. Yay! But there are also a whole bunch of shenanigans. And, Lisa's here, and we always have to talk about quarterbacks because quarterbacks are quarterbacks. So there's that. When Lisa's in the house, quarterbacks must be talked about. I think that's
It's a must.
They must. So, the Hall of Fame game, the Hall of Fame. Kate, how was the Hall of Fame?
Well, it was awesome. It was a small class this year. So things were pretty quick, but you also got to spend more time with the individual guys. Like at the round table, they got to focus more on them. It really kicked off with the first preseason game on Thursday. Detroit Lions 7, Chargers 34. Again, it's preseason.
It is literally.
Lisa, I want to hear from you about what you saw from Trey Lance. But Sonia, let's start with Detroit only put up 7 points. Does this have anything to do with what the season's going to look like? Or was Dan just trying some things and trying some people and wasn't really concerned about score?
I don't think he was concerned about the score. I'm with you though, Big Red. Fumbling the kickoff to the Hall of Fame game. I mean, like that's just get your head out of your ass, guys. Come on. We're a little bit
beyond rusty.
That boy going home. That boy going home.
Right. It's like, come on already, y'all. This is not the same old Lions. We've evolved.
Yeah.
But I also just think this was a little bit more just getting used to new systems. We've got 2 new coordinators. You know, there are obviously things to clean up. 4 turnovers, can't have that in any game, especially a preseason game. So there's that. I'm not super concerned right now. I'm just glad nobody got super injured or anything like that. So just stuff to clean up. Couple good things though coming out. My Tesla. my rookie wide receiver Tesla making some big moves. I think he'll have a great season. So I liked that. But overall, not too concerned. Like I said, no injuries. That's all I care about.
I wasn't thrilled with either of your quarterbacks, Kyle Allen in particular. I'm like so glad y'all got Jared Goff for when the regular season starts. Lisa, I know you and I talked a little bit. Trey Lance looked good. He looked like he knows what he's doing.
He did. And you know, sometimes that happens, right? That, you know, when you talk about quarterbacks maturing and stuff like that, he looked like a mature quarterback. Looked like he's kind of a little relaxed. I don't think he's got so much pressure on him because everybody knows it's Justin Herbert's team, right? He seemed like he was relaxed, just went out there, progressed through his reads. You know, I saw definitely a much more relaxed, much more mature quarterback, and a solid backup, right? I mean, if you think he's still a young kid, so worst case scenario, just bides his time. God forbid something does happen to her, he can come in, you know, maybe solidify himself for some teams to take a look at him next year if he, you know, can play real well. But I thought he did very well. I mean, that's the first thing I kind of noticed from him. And it looked like Harbaugh was very pleased with him. You know, they had that offense going. I know it was just practice, glorified practice, but they had Detroit's defense on their heels most of the game, which, you know, I was very surprised. But I liked the kid. You know, I thought that they rushed him into a lot of things that he just wasn't ready for. But I think he's finally kind of maybe found his home here with San Diego to where he can continue that growth and maybe try to start somewhere next season.
But, you know, I feel like Justin Herbert's got something to prove this year if he wants to keep that job. Do you think he's nervous seeing how well Trey Lance played? Is there any chance if Herbert's not playing well that Harbaugh's like, you know, maybe you need to sit down and Trey needs to just come in?
Well, and you got to think, you know, this is a new regime. Harbaugh didn't draft Herbert. So you have to think that if he struggles and Lance is right there and you've liked what you've seen during practices and you know, we still got a couple more preseason games under our belt to go. I don't think Harbaugh would have a problem pulling the trigger.
Not at all. He is that type of coach. And, you know, Trey Lance kind of speaks to what I've tried to say these past few years is that I don't think people give their quarterbacks enough time to get used to things and get used to systems. And so now that Trey is on like his 3rd or 4th team, he's like finally getting comfortable, and maybe that's all he needed. And so, and especially if Harbaugh likes him and that's more of his speed and his style, then yeah, you definitely will see some more Trey Lance during this season.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one we'll keep an eye on as the season goes on. As far as the Hall of Fame festivities, the gold jacket ceremony on Friday night was, you know, just lots of tears. We had a couple of the guys that I think spent the whole weekend crying. You know, I think getting that jacket for them is more emotional than when they do the actual enshrinement on Saturday, when they get the bust is unveiled and all that. The artist who made the busts was there at the roundtable luncheon on Sunday, and a bunch of them were talking to him. They spend, I guess, a lot of time together, you know, doing drawing sessions and stuff. And that artist has to spend time with them. They get to know him and his wife, and they, you know, kind of bond while he's getting all the information he needs to actually do the molds and stuff for those busts. Antonio Gates was just a sobbing mess the whole time. Every time he started talking, he was crying. He was crying Friday. He was crying Saturday. Sunday at the round table, Dan Fouts hosted it this year. I'm not sure why Sam Weish wasn't there. I do love me some Sam Weish, but Dan Fouts did a nice job. But he was just like, Antonio, how you doing? He's like, I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally exhausted. I'm just so tired. He goes, the only reason I'm here today is because I don't want to get fined, which cracked up everybody because that's what they always say in the press conferences, right?
Yes.
And Eric Allen told us a funny story. Apparently he had a wardrobe malfunction Friday night, split his pants. And they were like, just pull your jacket down and cover it up. And his wife's like, oh, no, he needs another pair of pants. He is not going out there with his thighs hanging out the back. And so she ran quick and worked with some folks and got him a new pair of pants. But I think everyone knows the story for the Sharp brothers. Shannon's had some issues recently, and there was no talk of any of that. When you asked him over the last few years, who was the best football player in his family, he would tell you it was Sterling. Every single time. He said, I may be the first one that got into the hall, but he is a better football player. And he means it. He's very sincere about it. And you could just see it when the two of them are together. Sterling talked a lot about leadership, that this was the first time his brother got to lead him into somewhere. Usually he's the one leading his baby brother and stuff. So it was super emotional. It was nice. They each had 15, 20 minutes to talk on Saturday. They gave him a lot more time than usual. They didn't kind of rush him off the stage. The weather was fabulous. Listen,
right?
I've lived in Northeast Ohio since 1975. It's a box of chocolates. You don't ever know what you got. I've been to the Hall of Fame when it was 110 degrees in the shade. I've been there when it was raining and pouring. I was there in the old days. Dan Fouts talked about them. They originally did the enshrinement on the steps in front of the hall.
Oh, really?
There must have been nobody there to watch because there's not a lot of space there. The changes in that property. Last weekend was awesome and fun, but that was not the week to go if you've never been to the hall before and you want to go. It's insane, crazy busy. You want to go next week or the week after where you can, or any time of year, where you can really walk around and go through the exhibits and see what's going on. They asked a bunch of the players, there's always this sort of myth or lore. People joke about. John Madden used to say that at night when the lights go out, the bus talk to each other. And so they asked a bunch of the Hall of Famers that came to town for this year's events who their bus would be talking to. And Warren Sapp was hilarious. He's like, I'm just sitting there smiling, listening to everybody else talking. I'm not getting in the middle of nothing. I did my smack talking when I played. I'm just going to sit and listen to, the greats. And so those kind of things, if you go to NFL.com, you can find them. They did a whole video feature of asking these guys who they think their bust would talk to and stuff. It was very cool, very interesting, very inspirational, a lot of faith, a lot of talk about the role faith played in people's lives. A lot of them, three of them, Eric Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Shepard all started off their speeches by talking about the women in their lives, their mothers, their aunts, their sisters, who played big roles in their lives and their football careers. I didn't realize. I knew Antonio Gates played basketball in college. I knew he went to Kent State, which is near here. They tried to recruit him to Michigan State and to go there. And Nick Saban actually was with the Browns at the time and told him to stay where you are, which he did because we don't like them Michigan boys. Sorry, Sonia. I didn't realize he was from Detroit. He learned to play basketball on the mean streets of Detroit. Some of his best friends are still, he was naming guys. Antonio Gates was naming guys that he knew from school, high school in Detroit playing basketball. Jeez. And got all choked up, said they're still a constant presence in his life. And it just made me think of LeBron. Not just because it's basketball, but if you can find that core group of people when you're young that are good people, they help keep you humble and keep you real as your career goes on. And I think too few of the professional athletes that we watch every week, no matter what the sport, have that foundation of friends who are willing to tell them the good and the bad, right? And so those kind of things are cool. So it was nice that it was a smaller class. We got to hear a lot more stories. We got to talk to them a lot more. They changed things up again a little bit this year. Usually the round table on Sunday is a sit-down lunch And it takes forever because it's a big money to get tickets. And then they're wheeling the food out. It's not even a buffet line. They're doing plated lunches. Excuse me. And then they got to take up the food and everything. This year, they completely changed it up. It's no longer called the Enshrinement Roundtable. It's called Unscripted and Tailgate.
Oh,
and
cool.
Outside was like a tailgate. In between the two buildings at the Canton Civic Center, there's a covered area. And so there were like 6 different food stalls with sliders and bowls and brats and watermelon and just all kinds of different things. And the people just milled around out there. The McKinley Bulldog Drumline was there. A bunch of the Ultimate fans from the UFPAF. I can't remember that.
They every year.
I met a couple Dolphins ladies, Jen, the Diva, and Murta, and both of them immediately are like, "You're from our turf? Do you know Lisa Johnson?" I'm like, "Yes, I know Lisa."
Of course, we know Lisa.
We love her. We love Lisa. So Lisa's got a lot of love from the Dolphins fans there.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to walk around and talk to people, talk to the fans, talk to some folks that were in. You get a lot of people there in just random jerseys, a lot of Browns fans because it's so close to Cleveland.
Right.
But everybody's in some kind of gear. But I tried to find people that were wearing 84 for Sterling Sharp or for Eric Allen, or 21 I think was Jared Allen's number. Like I tried to find the guys wearing the jersey that actually came for the players, and there were quite a few there. But we had great weather, all things considered, to be sitting outside at 1:00 in the afternoon. It was warm, but there was a nice breeze. I didn't see the ambulance carrying any people off. You usually get that heat stroke thing, right, where you got people in the crowd having issues. But I thought it wasn't the biggest crowd I've seen, but it also feels so early in the year this year.
Did you like the format? Do you think that this is something that they should think about doing, is a little bit of a lower scale of players instead of having like 7 or 8 players?
I think 6 would be the number I would pick. 5 modern day and 1 senior. I would go 6 because it felt like I could have sat there for another hour. I couldn't have sat there for another 3.
Right.
And the problem with the years where they would have 7 or 8 is those years it didn't start till 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
And you're there till after midnight, and that's no bueno. So definitely loved the 1 o'clock start time for that. And I think this year, the new president of the hall said this is the 4th class that has only had 4 people. So it's not like people were like, "Oh my God, there's only 4." And he's like, "Well, this isn't the first time we've had only 4. It's just the way the voting is. You have to get a certain percentage of the voters each get to pick a certain number of people, and then they have to have a certain percentage of the vote. And so this year it was 3 modern day and 1 senior one. I will say, Philip Rivers was there.
I saw him.
Eric Allen called him out. They posed for pictures and stuff later. They both got a little choked up. I mean, some of the, Antonio Gates, caught passes from Drew Brees and Philip Rivers.
Right.
And had, amazing numbers there. And so I did not see Drew Brees, but I saw Philip Rivers, and I thought it was interesting that Philip was there because we just talked about him last week and what we think his chances are of getting in the hall, and Eli's up at the same time. And what is that going to be like? There would be a whole set of side stories if they both get in the same year, right? They're going to dredge up the history of the draft and everything, no matter what. But they maybe decide, let's get them both in and get it over with. I think their stats are too different to get them both in the first time. I think
I'd like to see Eli go in with Brady. I think that would be
hilarious.
That would be a fun weekend,
awesome.
Of that's his tarnish, right? That's Brady's tarnish.
They do them alphabetically by last name. So Tom would go in first as far as order.
And then Eli.
My favorite statistic from the weekend is that over 30,000 men have played in the NFL since it started. There are 382 that have been deemed good enough to be in the Hall of Fame. Statistically, that's such a small number when you look at everyone that's played. Yeah. It should strike home that these are the best of the best. But I almost wish if they expand it, if they stick with 6, they maybe go 4 and 2. I would love to see some of these other senior guys get in that made such great strides in the game and that need to get that recognition. And so I would love to see something like that going forward. But otherwise, it was just fabulous. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to come to do it. And I got to spend a few minutes with our good friend Russell Baxter.
I saw that. I saw that. Also, yeah, Mr. Russell. Also, when did they do the smaller awards like Mary Kay? And did you see Brett Musburger? Is
Friday
that a separate venue?
Dinner. Yep, they had a separate event for that, but then they all had their parties Saturday night. So Saturday night was when they had the private parties for each of the 4 enshrinees. And then Mary Kay, I did not get invited. I've sent her a note and told her I'm a little sad about that. And she got some explaining to do because I've known Mary Kay for a very long time. Very well deserved getting her the Bill Nunn Award. It's only the second female writer to earn that award. And that's a big deal. She's also a Hall of Fame voter. She's very well respected. And I think it surprised a lot of the people in Cleveland because we've had her for so long that you don't know what the national opinion is of someone. I used to say that about Joe Thomas all the time. Is he really as good as we think he is? Or do we just love him because he's been here forever and he didn't leave us? And because you don't know what the national opinion of someone is. And then he got in the Hall of Fame and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not just me. It's not just Browns fans who think he's good. So this award really meant something. I think it woke up a lot of Cleveland Browns fans that, hey, Mary Kay's the real deal. She's not just some chick.
And the stories that she, the Bill Belichick story, how she, it was kind of interesting because it's like, I think you do that one interview of a coach or a player where you come out of that going, yep, I've made it, and she talks about Bill Belichick being that interview and that, so it was kind of interesting. I really like listening to her kind of stories.
You've been in a locker room, Lisa. It can be intimidating if you're going to ask a head coach a question. Like when I do that, when I ask a coach or a player a question, I think my question through really carefully. I make sure it's clear. I don't tell a 20-minute story and then ask my question. I hate those people that do that.
You can't.
Right.
I mean, you have to be precise.
I pay attention to, and I am scared to death when I ask it. And I just don't want to look stupid. Like I worry. It's just very intimidating. It probably means nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I worry. But it can be very intimidating. And then I think for someone like Mary Kay, she's tiny. She's tiny. I don't know. She's 5'2". She is just tiny. So not only is she the only female in the room for the most of her career, she's also half the size of these people that she's talking to. You know what I mean? So then you have the intimidation of Bill Belichick and then the intimidation of the players. And she stood up to him and she did not back down. And she immediately made a name for herself. And if you watch any of Kevin Stefanski's interviews or all of the coaches that we've had through the year, when she asks a question, they're like, Mary Kay, what do you need to know? They know her name. They are respectful to her. She is respectful to them. And it's very cool.
I like it. Yeah. I like that. It was interesting.
That relationship done right with Mary Kay. Mary Kay. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Got some comments here. Let's see. What are we talking about? Joe Jacoby, kind of like, it's kind of like Sterling. It took him forever. It's kind of ridiculous.
You have not played since 2000 is sort of the number right now. Anyone who played and retired before 2000, it's up to the senior committee.
Gotcha. Let's see. Darcy doesn't feel that Rivers is going to get in. He's got decent stats, but that's it. Okay. Brady for sure needs to get in before Rivers. But
Oh yeah. Brady's a first-time Hall of Famer. He's a first-time ballot. I'm sorry. That's a lock. That's locked and loaded.
Is he up next year or does he have one more year?
Let me check. Let's
5 years after he just retired so many times I can't keep track.
Brady, I think he's got like 3 more years. I think Tom's got like 3 more years. Let's see what else. Oh, Big Red was wondering, do you know the snub of South Carolina by Sterling? Was he snubbed?
He was. I was talking to a few people that were at the Gold Jacket dinner on Friday night, and it was not a snub. there was a conversation that went on with him and Antonio Gates about how you don't have to play college football to get into the pros and to go to the NFL and then to get in the Hall of Fame. And you understand why all these people are bragging about what college they went to. I went to Kent State, but I played basketball. I didn't go. And so they were like kind of joking about it. And Sterling said, well, then I'll just skip South Carolina in my speech and then Antonio won't pick at me. I mean, he did mention his coach. So Greel, I think is his name. There were a lot of stories in the media back in the day that they had a contentious relationship, that Sterling was difficult for the media to deal with and things like that. And the problem was back then, now we're talking, he quit playing in 94? So he was in college, early 80s? He played for 7 years and then had that neck injury. So we're talking early 80s. Yeah. The media at South Carolina would go over and talk to Coach and ask him a bunch of questions. And then they would run over to Sterling and go, oh, hey, Coach said this about you. What do you think? and it got to where he didn't want to talk to them anymore because they were blindsiding him with things that he wasn't aware of, right? And so it sounded like they had a very contentious relationship. And yet, when he was naming people that he thanked, he did thank his coach. He just didn't go on and on about South Carolina. So I know, I think it was Big Red that had tweeted me and asked me about that while I was, we were watching the event and while I was there. And so I talked to Russell Baxter a little bit about it. Our friend Russell has known Sterling forever. When he first started doing shows on ESPN and CBS, they were one of the first ones. He walked up to Sterling and asked him if he would be on a show that he was doing with Tom Jackson and I think Chris Berman back in the day. And Sterling said, okay. And later, one of the executives at the studio was like, how did you get him to be on the show? And he's like, I asked him. Like, you know what I mean? And we're coming at him with no agenda, with just, hey, do you want to come on the show? And then he said you couldn't shut him up. It was just talking and talking and talking. And he loves to talk about the game. So it was their relationship in person and getting to know each other. And he considers him a friend. He brought his wife and daughter this year. He's been covering the Hall of Fame since like 88. This is the first year his wife and daughter came with him.
Cool.
And he's like, Sterling's getting in. They know him. I'm bringing them in here. So I think he sort of had a reputation that maybe wasn't deserved, that once he stopped playing and got into doing some of the broadcasting stuff, people saw a different side of him. But he was just they were all at this stage very humble. It always surprises me how many girl dads would get up there. I think Jared Wright's got 3 daughters, or Jared Allen. And he talked about how, at his funeral, if all they talk about is football career and they don't talk about what a good father he was, then he will have failed as a person and things like that. And you could tell he meant it. So Eric Allen's got like 27 boys. I don't know how many sons he has. They were showing clips of him and then pictures of them at the Raiders games when they were little. I think he's got 4 of them. And one of them's planning to play football. The other 3, I think, are like, no, that's okay. I don't know. They made a big deal about this being the first set of brothers to get in the Hall. Won't be the last set. Once Eli gets in, we'll have a set of Mannings. We have some father-sons in the Hall. But I think it says a lot. Over 30,000 men have played football. Only 382 made it into the Hall.
That's
and 2
wild.
of them are brothers. They're brothers. Like, I wish I could be a fly on the wall in that house growing up. Like, what kind of a work ethic, what kind of dreams, what kind of encouragement did they get? Because it's not easy to get to the NFL, let alone to get to the level they both got to. And that's just boggles my mind.
2028, Brady can go in.
Okay.
What about Rivers? Just retired, so he's got a few years too.
No,
so.
he's next year. He didn't
Rivers
just retire.
He officially out loud retired.
Yeah, he officially retired a Charger. That's what he wanted to do. That's what he was. He retired.
He turned in his paperwork. We talked about it last week. I verified it.
Yeah,
he turned in his paperwork to the league in 2020.
Yeah, so he's eligible.
Perfect.
I think he just retired as a Charger just to get his name back out there again.
2026 next year. Yeah, next year.
Very, very good. What games we got coming up?
We got a slew of preseasons going on.
Thursday night is one that I find interesting. Ravens Colts, because the Colts still have quarterback issues. I don't know if
Mhm.
Anthony Richardson will play or who is going to play. I
They
doubt
gotta
Lamar Jackson will play.
Start.
Huh?
I thought I saw he was going to start. Let me double check.
They got to see if he's healthy enough. At least
the
get him a
Bengals
few
want the
reps.
Bengals are the ones that's interesting because Zach being on the hot seat, starters are playing. He's playing his starters for first couple series.
Yeah,
so that's what they said. There's not going to be any more of them resting and stuff. So apparently he's going to put them in for a couple series, Burrows included. So
well, yeah, and they're doing that stupid thing where we have a 7:00 game, which is Colts Ravens, and then a 7:30 game, Bengals Eagles. I'm guessing that's the one I'll get, and then a 10 p.m. game, Raiders Seahawks. Which I wish Dana was here just to tell us what she thinks is going to happen when Pete's got to go against his old team. I mean, it's been done before, but they're starting him right out the gate. Here you go, week 1, preseason.
Boom. The drama. We love the drama.
Yeah. My Browns and their 27 quarterbacks have the Panthers on Friday, along with Commanders and Patriots and Lions Falcons on Friday. I don't know what's going on. Shadir's shoulder hurts. Dylan Gabriel got a hammy issue.
Oh my God.
Pickett's got a hammy issue. Deshaun is still in somewhere on his honeymoon or whatever. They signed some other Tyler somebody today. I'm like, do I need 27 guys in my quarterback room? No. Just let Joe Flacco play on Friday and ease him into the season. It'll be fine. So they're having quarterback issues. I was looking at some of the teams where they're trying to figure out who their starting quarterback is going to be. It'll be, I think this week. Yeah, I've lost track too, Darcy. I think this week will be pretty generic at what we'll see on the field, but I think the next 2 is where you're going to see the quarterback competition start to play out with getting starts, getting some guys starts. Like the first half will be one and the second half will be a different one. I think next week would be a good time to break down. There's a lot of position battles going on, but let's face it, the only fun ones to watch are the quarterback battles.
Literally.
Because you can only start one, right? You can only start one.
Pete will definitely get a standing ovation. I don't think he...
they love him up there.
I was about to say, I don't think he left with any ill will. So, yes, he will definitely get a standing ovation.
No.
Dana will tell you, and I've heard her buddy over on Hawk Blogger talk about it, the fans just felt like Pete it was time for him to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to get what he needed there. He wasn't going to get it out of the team. The owners weren't. They just all needed to change.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's any ill will whatsoever.
Not at all.
No.
And sometimes you just need a change, right?
Yeah. Getting like Tomlin. I think a lot of Steeler fans are starting to sway that way too. So
feel the itch. Yep.
I'll take them.
Yeah. Sue, I know all teams are dealing with injuries, but the Bills, half our players are injured. Curious how they do have more players injured right now. We're listed as PUP, but it's the preseason. It's early.
Everybody. But listen, this is, we were talking about this today. How many times have we all sat and watched our teams in preseason? How many times have you heard, it just had a different feeling this time? It just had, I am so done with that saying from fans. They're all with their pom-poms. Oh, it's just so different. When Flo was here, it was like, oh my God, we've never sat at Dolphins camp with, it's different. The atmosphere is different. Every single year we get that. Or every single year your quarterback had an outstanding practice. Much better than what he did before. And then you get some of the teammates, right? Like Tyreek Hill. I'm just going to use him as an example. Well, I really didn't know some of the playbook last year. Really? So this year you're going to learn the playbook? I mean, it is so bizarre. Right? What? I mean, it's so funny. It's every single year we hear this. This is our year. Oh, it's just a different feeling out there. No, it's not. It's the damn same feeling. It's just football's back. You're excited. It's a damn thing. It's practice. We're talking about practice.
We are talking about practice. And remember, folks.
I saw a couple questions about Shedeur. He's just got some shoulder soreness. He will not start, and he will not get any reps at Carolina. They're him, Kenny Pickett, and now Dylan Gabriel. None of them is going to see a snap, which is why they had to pick up Tyler, because they don't want to have Joe Flacco with nobody now. You went from 6 guys to 1. in your quarterback room. He'll be fine by the first week of the season.
Browns.
They're going to be very cautious
I don't
and
know
take
how you're
turns.
going to split this up. I really don't. I'm going to be crazy.
Nothing feels different here, Lisa. I'm not going to tell you anything feels different. I'll be surprised if we win 4 games. I need to see it. I can't.
It is because we as fans have not seen football for so long, but it's just like that. It's like Christmas morning, right? You're like, ooh, like really excited about things. It's new, it's shiny, it's gonna be our year.
You drank the off-season deprivation Kool-Aid.
Yes.
And when you get a new coach or a different quarterback or new players, it does have a little bit of a difference because everybody does things a little different. It doesn't mean it's a euphoric feeling like, oh my God, it felt like the Super Bowl's coming. Come on.
All right. So here's my analogy, and Big Red, this probably won't work for you. It's like giving birth. Afterwards, you kind of forget how bad it is. And then when you go to do it again, you're like, oh, now I remember why I never wanted to do this again. That's how my Browns fandom feels like. I've forgotten a little bit about just how bad last year was. By week 3, I'm trying to hold on to it this year and not get sucked into believing we're going to be anything.
This is our year. This is it. This is our year, right? This is our year.
The first person who comes up to me and says Super Bowl, Super Browns is getting one of these in the back of the head.
Cowboy fans are the worst.
Cowboys fans are the worst.
They are the worst. This is
I love it for them.
Year.
It makes me
it's
laugh.
Our year.
It
just felt different.
Yes, sweetie.
Oh
my God.
It's great.
I love it.
That's why we're fanatics, right?
It is. I mean, you're not going to ever hear any even one of us say, "Oh, that sucked." This feeling sucks down here. Come on, you're out, you're having fun. Football's back.
Exactly.
It's fun watching them run around. So
you're just like, yay, preseason football is like everybody's just like football is on my TV. Yay! That's all.
Until the third preseason game is like, this blows. I'm ready for the regular season.
Exactly.
Yes. It's a cautionary tale. Go ahead. I'm a Panthers fan. Let's be real. I don't know that you're.
Listen, we all have our backup teams. Right? I'm a Pirate. I would be, if I was a Dolphin fan, I'd be a Pirate because I think that pirate ship is awesome.
The Buccaneers.
Yes.
Just take the preseason with a grain of salt. It doesn't mean nothing. Sonia and I have both rooted for teams who went undefeated in the preseason and winless in the regular season. So they're trying things out. They're trying players out. I love the people that win 3 preseason games and tell me they're winning them all.
They're going to the Super Bowl.
Dude, all you proved is that for 3 weeks, your scrubs are better than their scrubs. That's it.
I think I think the Cowboys, when the Cowboys went with Jimmy Johnson, they lost all 3. They lost all their preseason games, and then they won the damn Super Bowl. So
I feel like that's almost the point. You want to be trying new things. You want to be working the kinks out. You want to figure out what plays and schemes work and which ones don't. And while you do some of that in practice, it's not the same going up against your own defense as it is going against somebody who really doesn't want you to get that extra yard that you need or whatever. So there's value in the preseason games.
Yeah. Especially when you have battles, right? When you have battles. I mean, when you have, because sometimes if you have a veteran you want to get some work to, and the veteran's in there a little bit longer, and, and then you get the text from your brother-in-law who is just ripping you on about preseason game, and you're just like, what, really? You're beating me by 23 points and yay. Okay.
Saturday, one of the games that I know I'll be watching is Steelers at Jaguars, just because I want to see Aaron Rodgers take a snap in the black and gold. He's going to have to play a little bit. He has never played there before. Trevor Lawrence will not be playing at all. So
I would say they would. Maybe just like a snap or two, just to make sure. Yeah. But
I think it's a little bit of a different a little bit different this year. I think you'll see a snap or two because they're all coming out saying they're taking a snap or two. They're not letting these veterans just sit on their haunches. I mean, Joe Burrow, I mean, if you're a Bengals fan, are you happy about that? Well, what have you seen that makes you go, oh no, he needs to sit? No, he doesn't. Get him out there, knock some rust off, then rest him. You got to get the Bills. I just read the Bills are starting Josh Allen. So for a couple series and then, or hand the ball off, just get, back into
get that rhythm back.
Yeah, because that's a serious thing. And when you have new receivers or new running backs or a new center, they need a little bit of that with you. But there's balance, right? You don't, God forbid somebody gets injured on a stupid play. So there is that balance. And I think maybe now that we have an 18-game season, 17-game season, right? People, you don't have to be undefeated. We've seen these teams get off to a slow start. We're always talking about how get me to week 6, and then I'll tell you who these teams are. The first 3 weeks, they're still knocking. They're still
playing catch up. Defense is always a mile ahead of the offense, like we always said.
So,
and starting these guys, we're talking, you guys, don't go crazy. We're just talking about a snap or two. We're not talking about leaving these quarterbacks in for quarters because, the fear is there. I mean, if you have a pass rusher, a young, aggressive pass rusher that's trying to make this team, you don't want him just going all crazy and
trying to take out Josh
Allen. Exactly. I mean, because they're just trying to make this team. They're going to go 110% because they're trying to make a roster. And you can't trust that kid from not, seeing red and just, going into your quarterback full tilt. So I think that's, what a lot of coaches think. Let's get him a snap, let him hand off the ball, do a couple passes, and then he's out of there. Because you do have these young kids that are trying to make this team, and they make stupid mistakes. They just, 110%. And it's not like a veteran who's playing preseason, if, coming off the edge. And to me, preseason, they're going to let up a little bit. They're not going to go 110 into the quarterback. Right. Where these kids that are trying to make the team, they're going to try to get a sack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Josh Allen needs to hear the thundering hoofbeats of a defense coming at him. He's wearing a red jersey in practice. Ain't nobody hitting him. You know what I mean? Get the quarterback.
Devin said the same thing.
I don't know that he needs to get hit, but he needs to be afraid of getting hit, right? Yes. He needs to get back into that. Oh, these aren't my defensive guy. I'm not wearing my red shirt. I could get hit. They need a couple snaps in each of these games to start getting that game feel back up to him.
Right.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. Well, guys, it's the end of the
everything
show.
I had on my list for today.
Yeah. But I think we covered it all. We got into it. Let's get into it. We got into it, y'all. So next week we'll be back, same bat time, same bat place, looking at some preseason game, any more shenanigans, see what happens with our Cowboys, see what happens with, Aaron Rodgers, anything like that. So, it's going to be fun. Hang on. Big Red has one last question. Are most injuries in preseason? No, I think this just football. It's just football.
I think you try to I think a lot of the coaches, try to tell them, like, listen, you don't want players to get injured. You don't want to, but at the same point, you're trying to make a team. Special teams is going to be huge now, especially with this new rule on the kickoff, because you can't go in the end zone anymore. That sucker's coming out to the 35. These kickers are going to the 1 to 2 yard lines, and a lot of these guys are going to make this team on special teams. We talked about it before. It's going to be depth, and those to me, where you'll see most of your injuries are going to be on special teams on those kickoffs.
Yep, exactly. But we got warm up for fantasy. I think we're going to have a couple more extra spots opening up, guys. So please keep an eye on your emails. I think I'm going to do like the 2 8-team leagues. So we'll see. Yay, Donkeys League. I know a couple of you guys sent some emails. Donkey's Cup. Yep. Aiming for the Donkey's Cup. I know a couple of y'all sent some emails. So I'll be sending out an email hopefully later on this week, earlier next weekend, or sometime this weekend, just as a follow-up to the email that I just sent. So we're going to have a great time. I'm so excited. If we can get a couple more players, that would be awesome. DM us. We're going to have a good time. So, yep. We will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat place. Talking about more shenanigans. So, see y'all later. Bye.